On Playmakers, foul in. We got a loaded lineup. You're probably noticing a new presence here. He's back. Presence. Yeah, Big Play Blake. Right. Check him out. Mike is getting his show out there. We are excited. We're going to be doing a live review of El Lager by Saucy Brew Works. That means the lager in Spanish. Blake, right. I don't know if you knew that. We've got fantasy locks for week 5. We're going to be previewing a big week in the NFL and a little better week in college football overall. After last week, though, anything's good.
Yeah.
Foul in. Let's hear from you guys. Who's in the chat room? Shout us out. Send us a question. Send us a comment. Give us your predictions for this week. What the heck? Tell us your favorite beer. We're going to be talking beer today. Give us your fave. What the heck? I don't hear any natty talk either.
Bud Ice.
Bud Ice. Molson Triple X.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we can go into the intro. What do you guys think?
Let's do it. Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's get it going.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
What is happening? It is Wednesday, October 2nd. October is here, Blake. What the heck?
It is here.
Yeah. Goes so fast. I'm your host, Big Play Jay. Welcome to the Big Play Podcast. The full crew is in the house. There is so much man on this stage. It's like a fast food eating contest up here. We were kind of talking about that earlier. The gentleman to my right, you know who he is. He is the captain of cutting the cord, his whole generation. I read about this online, Mike. Did you know that? You're killing the cable industry.
Well,
Big Play Beats, Mike. What's going on, brother?
First off, they need to give me a better product. I can get better stuff.
Yeah?
Streaming, doing all that good stuff. I'm doing great, honestly. I'm pumped up. I'm here, and there's so much men in here. I feel like we're at like a wrestling match. Like I just want to put on a singlet and get after it.
Yeah.
Looking very business cash, too.
Yeah, right. Is he going on cold calls after this or what? He's going door to door selling knives.
Paper products.
Yeah, the gentleman to my left, the pride of Stark County, Massillon's finest. Big Play Blake, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, gentlemen?
Welcome back. How you been?
Good. Had a lot of stuff going on. Just glad to be back.
Yeah.
Reunited, and it feels so good.
It does
friend.
feel so good.
so
yeah.
good.
What feels good, too, guys, is this lineup tonight. We've got a fantastic one for you. First and foremost, we're fueled by something other than adrenaline and pure man here.
That's right.
We're going to give you a live review of El Lager by Saucy Brew Works in our fuel segment. Then we are, of course, going to go and see what's on deck. We got a big week in the NCAA football world and some okay games in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's a good weekend to catch up on your yard work, your honey-do list, but that's okay. Pretender Contender brought to you by Waymaker Sunglasses this week. We're a quarter way through the NFL season, guys. We got to dissect and see if some of these teams are real or some of them are fake. Will be fun. And then we're a fantasy football house around here.
Yeah, we are.
We got to give our locks for week 5. And we had an interesting chat this week. We've got some really funny fantasy football stories to share with you. Little bonus coverage.
Least.
Yeah, to say the least. So we'll get in that as well. And then you all know about hell no, hell yeah. We got to talk about this new rule in California, the right to play to pay. Wow, how many times are we going to mess that up?
I can't get it
First
right.
off,
just in
unique
general.
New York. Let's just practice. Right to play to pay. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, let me.
Right to play.
The right to pay to play.
Pay to play.
Pay
right?
to play.
Pay to
Wow.
play.
Anyways.
That was easy.
Just imagine.
Yeah,
We
Blake
still
comes
gotta
back
fill
and
up.
he's got it going on right off the bat.
I'm just
Jay, let's
full
get
of
it
energy.
together,
I
man.
heard him. He had a pitch pipe going. It was weird before we started
To me,
tonight.
it look like a leprechaun to me. All you gotta do is look up in the tree. Who else in the leprechaun say yeah?
It's never too early to hear that. I don't
No.
care if it's St. Patrick's Day. Guys, let's get started. Let's find out what is fueling this week's show.
I have a hint.
Today's secret ingredient is scallop, mushroom, pizza dough, hamburger. Today's secret ingredient is
Oh, gentlemen, this is a Mexican-style lager by Saucy Brewworks. This is El Lager. It's light, crisp, and clean with a touch of Mexican maize.
You know what?
Corn, in other words.
I say, yeah.
Like, yeah.
I'm very familiar with corn being
Yeah.
from Stark County.
Not the made-up color you
No.
might find on uniforms to the north, but
Yeah.
maize, corn.
I'm excited that it's 4.2%, and I'm not going to be like pretty drunk by the end of the show.
No, this is really really
drinkable.
light. I love it.
Mike, that's why you just get this big, and then that doesn't matter anymore.
Right? Yeah, it's just like
Life goals, I got this.
4.1. That's an appetizer.
That's right.
This is delicious,
No,
though.
this is very
Check
good.
this out at one of their brew rooms, of course, in Columbus, Cleveland, or at your local grocer, their provider. Saucy Brewworks El Lager. Great beer in the fall, summer. It doesn't matter. Pick it up.
Hey, we're getting a comment really quick.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out not only to Saucy Brewworks, but JSEJMM6 is asking, is Odell overrated?
Already?
Yeah,
he's coming in
at it.
hot.
Yeah, coming in real hot.
No, I
yeah.
wouldn't say he's
Yeah.
overrated.
Get in there, give us your comments. We'll try to get them out on air. We'll answer whatever we can, or at least discuss and make fun of
Surprisingly, that's not the first time I've heard that this week, though.
Odell
In,
overrated.
in, in a
Al?
no, well,
Oh,
yeah.
people love to hate
no, but
Odell.
in a serious capacity, it's not the first time I've heard that. I disagree with it, obviously.
Right,
I
right,
mean,
right.
But it's not the first time I've heard that.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, let's get into some NFL action. Let's get into the week that will be. Let's find out what is on deck. Hit me with a transition, fellas. All right, guys, let's start in the world of college football. I'm calling this the Say Anything weekend. Blake, follow me on this one. You look very surprised. You remember the movie Say Anything? Mike,
I
you're
do.
too young. You remember this?
I thought I did.
Well,
No,
Okay.
if
now I
he's
don't
too
feel like
young,
it.
I'm definitely too young.
So John Cusack. Yeah, you're younger than I never think of that, right? Anyways, John Cusack's character is outside of his lady's window, Diane.
Yeah.
The Ione Shy, I think was her name. Yeah, like a fine wine, like El Lager, just aged beautifully, by the way.
Delightful.
And you'll recall the scene. He's in the window with that giant radio playing. Your
Okay.
eyes.
I
the
remember
light, the
that.
heat."
I don't remember the
Sing anyone?
movie, but I remember the scene.
Yeah. So he's trying to win back her love. College football is trying to win back our love this week, guys. They want to pull us back in, and there's some nice matchups. Let's start in Ann Arbor. We've got number 14, Iowa, visiting Michigan, number 19. Michigan is the favorite here per Vegas. -7. Some of the polls said -6.5. It's
Yeah.
moved a little bit, but Michigan favored. They got the shot in the arm they needed last week. Speaking of Michigan, Shea Patterson had 4 touchdowns. Josh Gaddis, I never know if this is a sign of desperation, guys, or just a little ingenuity. He moved from the box down to the sidelines. It seemed like the offense moved a little smoother, a little crisper, and overall much better. Iowa had a very easy W against Middle Tennessee State. Their defense, still the 5th-ranked D in the country. They're holding opponents to 251 yards. Mike, we've talked about this game. You've looked into it. How can Michigan win this game at home?
You started to mention already, little Shea Patterson. I think it's got to run through him. If you look at the stats on offense, the two teams, Iowa and Michigan, are really similar. Time possession, rushing yards, passing yards, all are very similar. I think Iowa's defense is much better against the pass, so it's going to come down to Shea Patterson getting on the same page with Gaddis, whether he's on the sideline or in the box. They need to sustain drives here. They have to win time of possession to win this game, in my opinion. I think if they don't do that, I actually think it's going to be a rough night for them, or a rough day for them, I should say. But
Sure.
Yeah, So that's where I think that it's going to come down to third downs, Shea Patterson being efficient.
Okay, this is the noon showdown, of course. They're calling it on Fox. The noon showdown. Blake, on the other side of thing, the Iowa Hawkeyes. How do they win this game?
Well, I think first and foremost, they just, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. Is kind of the mantra. If you know,
Fair.
If I'm Kirk Ferentz this week, that's kind of what I'm preaching. They're fourth in the nation right now when it comes to penalties. They only have 16 for just over 100 yards. So they're a well-disciplined football team. The other thing is they got to win the turnover battle. And if you look, they only have one turnover this year. They've only lost one fumble. That is it. So if you can create turnovers, play disciplined football like you've been doing, the rest will kind of control itself. And when you do those two things, one thing that's easy to do is control the pace at that point. So if you can control the pace of this game, keep that Michigan offense off the field, I think that gives them the best chance. Kind of go with that Wisconsin game plan, how Wisconsin just whacked Michigan. Kind of that same game plan along those lines. Control the pace, be disciplined, run the football. Kind of old school smash mouth. Well, Big Ten football.
Right, exactly. So your final prediction, Iowa, I take it? What do you think?
In a tight one, though.
Okay.
It's hard to go into the big house no matter who you are and win. So I think Iowa still pulls it out, but it's a tight one, like 20-17, 24-21 sort of game.
I agree with Blake on this one. I just do not trust Jim Harbaugh against ranked opponents, a lot of unranked opponents, especially disciplined football teams. So I'm going with the Hawkeyes. Going down south to Gainesville, we got a showdown in Florida. Number 7 Auburn is visiting Florida, who's number 9, both undefeated teams. This is a 3:30 game on CBS. Auburn is they're first in the SEC West. Florida, of course, first in the SEC East. Auburn, and when we start to talk about resumes, guys, they're the most battle-tested SEC team. They've got road wins against Oregon, even though it was a mutual site. Of course, it was obviously far away from their confines.
Sure.
Texas A&M, too, as well, was a road win. Florida, how are they doing it? They've got the number 16 run D in the nation. They're giving up 87 yards per game. Cal Trask last week was extremely efficient. He hit the first 15 of his passes. So he's doing pretty darn well in replacement duties. Mike, Auburn, how are we going to be screaming War Eagle at the end of this game?
Oh, it's going to have to be it's really going to have to be a fast start, in my opinion. You mentioned Trask, 15 passes. The most passes in the game that Bo Nix has completed so far is 19.
Wow.
Oh my gosh!
There's a new one.
That was a really good one. Yeah. So Bo Nix is young. He's developing, but I just don't think he's there. So if they don't start fast, they're going to be in a world of hurt. So I think they're going to have to get out, get some points on the board early, stop the Gators early on, and then keep handling the ball. They run the ball 63% of the time, and they're going to need to keep doing that. Jartavius Whitlow already has 97 carries, 7 tutties. I think you get him going, they'll be in a good place if they want to win. And then they're going to maybe have to create a few big plays with Eli Stove and Seth Williams are the guys who I think that are most likely. They already have some big plays on the year. But I think it's the fast start that's going to be the key for them. If they start slow, it's going to be ugly.
Gotcha, guys. Interesting. This is the first time Auburn's been favored in this matchup in the last 11 games. Kind of surprising considering some of the teams that they've had.
Well, Florida's been down too.
Florida's been down.
In the last, over the last 10 years compared to historically.
Sure.
And it's at the Swamp. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Like, that's impressive.
Right. Well, guys, we both know that Florida is the least respected 5-0 team in the country. But you're going to have that when your wins are over Tennessee, Kentucky, Miami, and Towson.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're going to have to win with defense. They're giving up 8.8 points per game, which is 5th best in the country. The offense is going to have to be efficient, as they've been in the last few weeks. Cal Trask is hitting 77% of his passes. Not too shabby, guys. And they've got to get Perrine involved. Their leading rusher is yet to kind of find his space, and, they've got to give him some opportunities, too, as well. I think Florida can win a close one here. I think it's going to be a classic SEC physical matchup.
Yeah.
Ranked opponents. You can't ask for more for a Saturday afternoon at 3:30. I think Florida wins a very, very close one, a field goal, 10-7, 17-10.
You think that low scoring, huh?
Yeah. I think it's going to be very low scoring. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm thinking like 21-14 Auburn.
Okay.
I think it's just going to be they're going to get ahead, hold on to a lead.
My gosh!
Is that my nephew? Ben? What's up?
I was about ready to ask if somebody killed Kenny, but
Yeah, you bastard.
no, I mean that seems, I don't know. Any idea what the over-under is on this game?
The over-under is a little higher than that, actually.
Yeah,
I think that I'm definitely leaning towards the under.
Right. Yeah.
Actually,
So
I have it here.
the spread on this one, that's a good question. Florida was +2 at home, so that was
+2 at
interesting.
home.
So still a pretty smart one. While you're looking for that, Mike, let's move on to Ohio Stadium, a showdown Saturday night that I'm not sure is going to be a showdown at all. Number 25, Michigan State, is visiting Ohio State, who's, of course, undefeated and number 5 in the country. This is a 7:30 game on ABC. Guys, Ohio State looks like a powerhouse, and we're going to get into this a little bit more later on. Justin Fields is absolutely thriving in Ryan Day's offense. Last week he had 3 touchdowns through the air, 1 on the ground versus Nebraska, who they made look like the JV squad. Michigan State's 4-1. They're first in the Big Ten East. Their only loss coming towards Arizona State. They're not exactly setting the world on fire on either side of the ball, guys. Versus Indiana, they gave up 287 yards and 3 TDs. And this is going to be fun, maybe just to see a little bit of a track meet, if you will. I think Ohio State wins this one, and they win it big. They just need to be themselves, quite frankly. They can't fall for the dreaded letdown game, which they've done so recently in the last few years, kind of their Achilles heel. They're averaging 535 yards of offense. Unbelievable. Is this the Pac-12 or is this the Big Ten, guys?
Got him!
Thank you.
Pac-12's hurting right now.
They're only giving up 224 yards on the other side of the ball. So you want to talk about dominant teams on both sides. They're winning games by 43.8 points.
Oh, yeah.
This is an unbelievable team. We're going to get into it later on. I think they absolutely dominate this team. I'm thinking like 42-10. Yeah.
Wow.
Can't argue, right?
I mean, I'm not going
But you're
fight you.
going
I
to.
think
Let's hear it.
I mean,
Blake is going to get in on
Blake,
this.
well, what do you think?
Well,
He was itching.
I think it's another one kind of similar to that first game we talked about, where just kind of play within your own identity. And the problem that Michigan State's going to have is they don't have the depth that Ohio State has. So you're not going to grind this team down. You're going to have to win with big plays. You're going to have to continue to protect the passer well. I think they're 9th in the nation right now for pass protection. They've only given up 4 sacks. So now, granted, look who they've played, but continue to protect the passer, create some turnovers. Ohio State's had a little bit of a fumbling problem. I don't want to call it a problem, but they fumbled. I think it's 4 fumbles already this year. So attack the ball. But I still don't think it's enough. I think Ohio State rolls. Not quite as bad as what you said, but I think I have it like a 38-14, 35-14 game.
Is there a more miserable-looking coach on the sideline than Mike D'Antonio, by the way? No. Doesn't he just look like he hasn't slept since the Nixon administration?
Wow.
It's funny you
And
played that sound.
I mean,
bite.
he's that age. I mean, that's not
He kind of is like the Kawhi, as far as facial expressions are concerned, he's kind of the Kawhi Leonard of college football coaches.
right. He kind of has like a Belichick with a couple good jokes in his back pocket look to him, right? Like maybe a little bit more personality, but not a lot. He's not like
Belichick mixed with your creepy uncle sort of deal.
That's fair. That's fair. Let's move on to the big boy league. We got some comments, Mike?
We got a
What's
couple
going on
comments.
there?
We're getting a little action from Maslin. Blake's bringing that
boy.
influence.
Oh, his crew. Is his
couple
whole
people-
family here?
It's dangerous when they get on.
Little Auburn
dangerous.
beats Florida.
Okay.
I agree with that. That
Okay.
over-under, by the way, 48.5.
Wow.
I think we're on the
That's way
underside.
too high.
I just really don't think Auburn's going to want to get into
That's
a foot race.
that's a
and
sucker
it's
bet.
such a good deal.
Yeah,
the over-under.
That over-under is a sucker bet waiting to
think?
happen. Oh, yeah.
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 Okay. Yeah. And then also we have a Go Buckeyes.
Oh, okay.
Little Buckeye fan
All
out
right.
there.
Yeah. Hard to find them around here.
Say they start giving predictions, I want names because I'm going to mark it down.
Okay.
I'm going to come collect after the weekend.
All right, guys. Let's move on to the guys that play on Sundays and Thursdays, and I guess Mondays technically. So it's the
And then
NFL.
eventually when the college goes into bowl season, they'll play Saturdays too.
Yeah. that's
I'm
true.
okay with it as long as I
Right.
got football on each day.
Right, and if you're in the Idaho Potato Bowl, it's Tuesday. If I
that really?
recall, yeah, early look ahead
kinda
to that
sweet.
one. Yeah. Anyways,
It's the matinee.
right. I'm calling this a yes, dear Sunday, guys. You know why? Because this lineup overall kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's not good.
So
not
it is
good.
a good weekend to
Tell us
catch
how you
up
really
on your
feel.
yard work, maybe do some mowing. You got to lay some
Dude,
mulch
this
down.
is the
do
week.
it.
This is the weekend you hope your team has a bye week.
Yeah.
Like, just so you have an excuse not to watch.
So Jay, I feel like you just really like yard work. This is 2 in a row. Man.
Well, yeah. I kind of save it all for Sunday early. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I hit it hard, man.
He's that guy out.
That
I bet
song,
he.
Hit
I
It
bet
Hard.
Oh, hit it hard.
man.
Okay, I get
John
it.
Daly.
Relax a little
Yeah.
bit.
I bet he's that guy out mowing at 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning that I just want to throw a rock at.
Yeah, that's pretty much
That's probably
me.
you.
Yeah,
If you get
right.
hit with a rock, we know who threw it.
That's
I'm gonna have to throw it really far away.
Do you
Yeah.
throw like a lineman or do you throw like a quarterback? Do you have good
shot
arm, or-
put, shot put.
No, I mediocre. I don't have a great arm.
All right.
Anyways,
I'll put you this way.
I
If
had
I was,
to
if I was
ask,
a corner infielder, I'd be a first baseman. I wouldn't be a third
Oh,
baseman.
That's
Yeah,
a good
right,
analogy.
So there you
I
go.
like that.
oh, that's a surprise, Blake. Anyways, moving on. Tomorrow
range.
night, we've got a pretty darn good one, and then probably the marquee matchup of this week. We got the Rams visiting the Seattle Seahawks. This course is on at 8:20. Seahawks are favored at this point, -1.5. Seattle improved to 3-1 last week versus they faced Arizona. Wilson was efficient as always, 240 yards. Chris Carson, a balanced attack, had 104 yards. The Rams, maybe some cracks in the armor here we're seeing to start to develop with the Rams. They lost 55-40 to Tampa Bay. That's not a misprint. Yes, two teams, one of which being Tampa Bay, combined for 95 points.
Yeah.
So anyways, they were kind of exposed of a lingering weakness, and that's that they just can't run the football, which is odd to say when Todd Gurley is your running back.
Yeah. But is it that they can't run the football or they didn't?
Well,
11.
it's probably a
times.
problem when you're kind of wanting Jared Goff to pass the ball 68 times.
That's play calling. They handed the ball off
68.
11 times total.
Yeah,
And I
that's
think
not
There's no
good.
way.
And I think it's been way underrepresented. I think there's more going on with Gurley's health than they're letting on.
Oh,
There
yeah,
has to be.
right, right.
I mean,
It's the
it's
worst secret.
Yeah, I mean, it's like why you just said why only run it 11 times when that guy's in your backfield?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Well,
And their backups aren't bad either. Brown and Henderson
Mm-hmm.
are not bad either. So why are you only running the ball 11 times?
Right. Well, let's get into it. Mike, how do you think LA can win?
First, they got to get back to good defense around the ball. Running the ball leads to some good defense.
Mm-hmm.
You slow the game down. You let them rest. You let that D line that's dominant, Aaron Donald, get his breath back. So I think that's the first thing. We already said they threw the ball 68 times. That's just insane.
Unreal.
McVay needs to wake up on that one. Like, hey, let's read the writing on the wall, or like take a look at the stat sheet after. I'm like, oh shit, let's hand the ball off.
Do you think that's a little bit of him reading his own press clippings?
It might be, but like
could
that's
be.
also like reading them and not understanding it.
Yeah.
His offense is predicated on let's get 4 or 5 yards on first down. 2nd and 5, I can do anything.
Yeah.
I can hand the ball off and then we're 3rd and 1 or first down, or I run play action. I get all of those weapons, the ball, cup.
Wow, what?
Cook, Cup, Woods.
Thought we were talking cup of noodles there for a minute.
I mean,
Cook,
Gurley
cook,
out of the
cup,
back on the
college,
screen, like
cup.
everything's there. Yeah. So I just think they got to hand the ball off and get back to what their real bread and butter is. Unless there's really something wrong with Gurley, then you're gonna have to figure something out because they're in trouble. Yeah.
No. Okay. What's your final score prediction?
I'm
Mike?
taking the Rams on the road here, though. I think they do get back to it. I don't think McVay is that dumb. I think he had one bad week. I think they win 24-17, and they just control a lot of thunder on Thursday night.
Wow.
Little reference, see if people pick up on why that's going on.
Thursday Night Thunder. Come on.
Yeah. Well,
You
what's
can't
going
tell.
on this Thursday?
Oh, we've got a lot going on this.
Wrestling?
Yeah. Well,
a little old
AEW is
school.
actually tonight.
It's not. Why did I think it was
Yeah,
tomorrow?
Tonight.
Wednesdays.
So is NXT.
I'm dumb.
Yeah.
Never mind, guys.
Right. Anyways, Blake, we know you're a Seahawks fan. You're the resident expert on those guys, the 12th man. Give us a little clue here. How did the Seahawks win this one?
First and foremost, I got to control the air. LA's averaging almost 400 yards a game passing. So first and foremost, got to get back to that old Legion of Boom style defense. Got to control the air. Got to control the passing game. If you keep Goff in check, obviously they're not willing to run the ball or commit to a running game. So they're just going to kind of keep force feeding that. So if you can limit your damage there, I think you're in good shape. Continue to win the turnover battle. They've been doing that pretty well this year. The pick with Clowney last week was awesome. That was a classic, like kind of like that old Legion of Boom style, like.
Oh yeah.
Just find a way to get it done, and that play kind of exemplified that. So continue to win the turnover battle. The other thing, too, is to keep that offense off the field, like you said. Kind of the opposite of what you said, Mike, for the Rams to win, and I think it works both ways here, is keep that defense on the field. Don't let Goff and McVay's minions
Have a
get back out
methodical
there.
drive down the field and then
Right.
hit their big plays when they're ready.
Yeah. Just kind of keep control of the game, keep the pace going. Wilson plays great in primetime. I can't remember a time where he's played poorly in primetime.
That's fair. He's a gamer.
So-
he shows up. There's no doubt.
Yeah, so when the lights are brightest, he usually performs, and I think as long as they can limit their penalties on offense, they have had a holding problem on that right side of the line. I witnessed it in person 2 weeks ago. Jermaine Ifedi, you could throw a flag on him every single play.
Yeah, and they did.
He had 3 or 4 in that game. So as long as they can limit the penalties, win the turnover battle, kind of your basic things, I think they'll be in good shape.
Yeah.
Homer pick, I think Seattle at home. I never bet against Seattle in primetime at home.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
But a close one, like a 27-24, 24-21 sort of game. Field goal.
I agree with you on that one, Blake.
What are you
I
going,
think
Jay?
so.
What's your
I think
prediction?
Seattle in a close one.
Really?
Yep.
So I have a question here that fantasy-wise, I want to know if you guys any scoop for me. Chris Carson, Rashad Penny. Carson has the fumble bug.
Yeah.
Do you think they start to cede those carries to Penny?
I don't believe Carson had a fumble this last week.
Yeah,
So,
he did go.
did-
He did
yeah.
not have a fumble last week. I was
So
very happy. To see
It
that.
has happened.
And
though. Yeah, I
if
know
you
what
watch
you're
the broadcast, they actually talked a little bit about what he did during the week and what the coaching staff did as far as adjusting his carry height.
Mm-hmm.
So it appeared that he was carrying a little too low. So they adjusted his carry height, and it seemed to have a pretty positive effect.
Listen to this analysis. man.
That's what I'm saying. This is why I was looking for it.
Seahawks
I was
so,
getting nervous.
So yeah, that was the one thing they mentioned on the broadcast that they worked on all week was where he was carrying the ball at, and that was pretty much what they determined through film and everything else was kind of leading to the fumble problem. So,
Wow.
Very nice.
So
See, look at that
as long
insight.
as long as he keeps doing what they're telling him to do,
Yeah.
probably stays what it was. Now he has a couple more fumbles. I mean, the young guy is going to be knocking. So
That's what I was thinking, but I like to hear that they're working on it.
yeah.
Do you think the old college coach kind of forced him into, if you remember the movie The Program, Omar Epps, he just made him carry around the ball all week?
That's right.
Yeah, Carson's just walking through the local Save-A-Lot. You know, he's going through Fisherman's Dwarf, like with the ball just right here. At the correct height.
Bobby Wagner
Pike,
just
he's
comes out from behind the fish.
right.
In Pike's Market.
Yeah.
Tackled over the fish.
Sherman's like, this is my revenge. Richard, that is. Get it?
As I say, is he driving?
Do we got codes over there?
Is he driving all the way up from Santa Clara?
Oh,
That's a pretty far drive.
Yeah, well, anyways. Revenge has no distance, Blake.
There you go.
You remember that. Anyways, let's move on. Green Bay at Dallas. This is a Sunday game at 4:25. I guess the other marquee matchup, if you want, an otherwise pretty awful weekend. Green Bay. Let's just get right into this, Blake. How does Green Bay win this game?
Well, I think they got to get back to what they did the first couple of weeks of the season and play strong defense. They kind of let it go to the wayside last week, gave up 34 to Philly. Uncharacteristic of them, at least through the first couple of weeks of this year, they've played great defense. Much improved since last year. So if they can get back to that, they should be able to bottle up that offense. I mean, it's hard to bottle up all those weapons, but if they can at least commit to stopping the run game. If you look historically, Dallas doesn't win a lot of games where Zeke does not play well or he's bottled up. So if they can maintain the ground game, keep Zeke in check, they should be in a good spot.
Okay, very good. On the opposite side of that, Mike.
Literally the opposite side.
How about them Cowboys? How they win them one, man? That just oozed out of my mouth.
Wow, beautiful.
Wow.
It was like
SEC guy.
that was the most beautiful, ugly.
By the way,
mumble.
I pissed SEC guy off pretty badly this week by saying Ohio State's the best college football team.
Oh,
in the
he's so
nation.
mad at
Yeah,
you.
Georgia
they
guy
come out of
hates
the
me
war.
He's
right
just
now.
calling you a Yankee right
You
now.
know what I thought, and this is just very ironic. People basically outside of Indiana and their alumni base love to dog Notre Dame. But since Georgia beat Notre Dame and they're a top 10 team now, that's a really good win.
Is Notre Dame ever really a top team?
Not really.
Not this millennium, anyways.
Oh, no. All right, Mike, the Cowboys. What do you think there, brother?
So I like the opposite end of this for me is that we know Zeke. He's going to do what he's going to do. If they can bottom up, the Cowboys have no shot. I don't think the Cowboys are going to allow that. But in order for them to beat the Packers, I think we need to see something from the guys we don't expect. So not Amari Cooper, not Zeke. I want to see somebody step in for Gallup, who actually now is talking about maybe being on the play
maybe.
2.5, 3 weeks out of meniscus surgery.
Yeah.
So that'd be impressive. So since he went down, though, they haven't had that third guy really step up. So Devin Smith and Randall Cobb just haven't done it. I think that's the key actually here. They're going to take away Cooper. They're going to try to take away Zeke as best they can.
Yep.
They need a big player, too, out of that third guy. If they don't get that, they're going to be in trouble. I keep saying they're going to be in trouble on that one, but no, I think actually they need that to win this. That's the key for them, is that third guy to make a big play.
That's fair.
Speaking of need, guys, let's find out who is real, who is fake. Let's move on to Pretender Contender. Give me a transition, guys. All right, guys, this week, Contender Pretenders brought to you by Waymaker Sunglasses. Waymaker has creation-enhancing lenses with eco-friendly, high-quality frames you will love. Waymaker sells only premium polarized lenses with the best anti-scratch coating on the market. Check them out at waymakersunglasses.com and enter promo code BIGPLAY, all caps, at checkoff for 15% off. Let's start with you, Mike, in the NFL. Mike, Contender Pretender, the Saints going undefeated without Drew Brees.
You know what? It's easy. Just a pretender.
Oh my gosh.
And the reason I say that is initially I was like, they're lucky if they go 500. I think they'll go a little more than 500 because they won 2 of the tougher games they've had. But they're still in the NFL. There's still so much parity. They are going to hand the ball off. They're going to trust that Kamara and Michael Thomas are going to make enough plays and win these games in a close fashion. They're not going to blow anybody out.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I think there's no way they don't just stumble and lose one. They're going to keep having games where it depends on who makes the play last.
All right, let's go to college. Mike, Contender Pretender, Alabama as the new AP #1 team in the nation.
Is SEC guy around here anywhere?
Oh, you got to watch out, man.
He's a pretender. This is a pretender.
Oh.
And it's all about what have you done for me lately, Miss Jackson, if you're nasty.
Oh, God. Wow.
The Tide of the 17th easiest strength or hardest strength of schedule. If you look at, it's not even close to LSU, Auburn, Notre Dame, Georgia, and Ohio State, even Oregon. They've played a harder schedule, and that's why I say it. I want to see them beat a legit team, and I don't think they have a tough game until they play LSU on November 9th, so they're a pretender to me.
All right, Mike. What's up,
Jay.
man? Put me
All
on
right,
the
man.
hot
Yeah, I'm
seat
going to
here.
get you on the spot here. All right.
Go
In
ahead.
the NFL, Falcons coach Dan Quinn is going to make it to the end of the year. Pretender or contender?
Oh, that's an absolute pretender.
Oh my gosh.
It's him or one of the Grudens. And I'm not talking John, man. He's got that long contract. You know what I'm saying, man? The Falcons are 1-3.
Yeah.
Vegas had them at 8.5 wins going into this year. Their upcoming schedule includes the Texans, Cardinals, Rams, and Seahawks. Oh, my God. How many of those are they actually going to win? I'm not sure. Maybe one.
One.
You know, the thing is with them, I think they've got some in-house options that are at least adequate for the time being.
Yeah.
Look at Dirk Cutler, Raheem Morris, Greg Knapp. Any of those guys could at
Right.
least take over and have experience. He feels like he's kind of trying to fit that Seahawks defensive mold. The problem is he just doesn't have the defensive talent that he did in order to fit that mold, which is a problem.
Yeah, I mean,
personnel-wise.
well, when you look, him and Gus Bradley both tried to do that.
yeah.
Bradley in Jacksonville and him in Atlanta, and like you said, without the proper personnel, it's fallen flat on its face both times.
Yeah. So at some point, Arthur Blank, who's a really good owner, a very knowledgeable owner too, as well, is going to have to say we're kind of wasting some great players' primes in Julio, right?
Yeah.
And their quarterback, of course, Matt Ryan,
Who you
the
just
big
paid,
contract,
too.
Who you just paid. So I think they're moving on. NCAA. This one came up here earlier, guys. Ohio State, nationally contender pretender. I am giving this, spoiler alert, an absolute contender, and I'm not alone.
No.
The USA Today has them at #1. 24/7 Sports likes them to go undefeated. Mark May, remember?
Undefeated.
Yeah, remember
I gotta give you that.
undefeated? That's a great ranking. Mark May. Remember Mark May? Historic Ohio State
unfortunately,
hater,
yes.
by the way, says they're the best
Hates
team
Ohio State, yeah.
in college football. Greg Madison
Wow.
and Jeff Hafley have absolutely turned that defense around.
Mm-hmm.
Chase Young might be the best defensive player in the NCAA. I honestly believe
Quietly,
that.
yeah.
Fields will be at the Heisman ceremony. Whether he wins it or not, we'll find out
Yeah.
throughout the year.
My front runner right now.
I think they're better than the 2014 team with Bosa and Zeke, and I know that's a big statement. People, the argument there is they're not playing anyone. Well, yeah, you don't need to play anyone if you're just going to blow them out by 43.8 points.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter who you're playing.
Is
at
it
that
too
point.
soon to call Ohio State pass rusher U. Like all these schools like
Right,
that.
right.
Like all these
They're
schools like
getting
to,
there, though.
like all these
Yeah.
schools like to claim their DBU, their running back U,
Right.
whatever. Like, is it too far to say Ohio State's pass rusher U with both the Bosa brothers,
I think
Chase
it can
Young?
be. What about Malone University? What was that, Blake? What was that for you?
What's that? What was that for me?
Yeah. What would you call
Short-lived.
it? Wow. Short term.
It doesn't exist anymore, so even more short-lived.
All right. I'm going to hop off the hot seat here. We're going to go to you, Blake.
Sure.
Blake, pretender contender, the Bears, led by quarterback Chase Daniel.
Pretenders. Chase Daniel has 4 career starts and only 1 more career touchdown pass than career starts.
Yeah.
5 touchdown passes. And he's been in the league a little while.
Yes.
Got it!
So the fact he's on
loves
it
this,
over
doesn't
there.
he?
But the fact that you only have 5 touchdown passes, you've been in the league as long as he has, you've been a backup quarterback. And don't get me wrong, he's done well when he's had to come in kind of post haste, if you will. But like in terms of a starting quarterback, he's terrible. He's not enough to get them by, even with that defense, which is elite. Don't get me wrong, he just doesn't have enough. And they've already struggled to get the offense going with their starting quarterback, with Mitch Trubisky. So for them to expect anything different with Chase Daniels is just absurd.
It feels like, so we're talking about backup quarterbacks. You know, it's obviously better for the NFL if their marquee quarterbacks are playing. It's not good that Roethlisberger's not playing, for example. It's not good that Drew Brees is. But this season feels like it has as much intrigue because these young backups. Chase Daniel maybe doesn't fit that mold.
Right.
But I do think it's fun.
Well, I think you're seeing some teams, and you just mentioned the Steelers. They're getting a look into the crystal ball, if you will, for their future, whether it was their choice or not. So, and just a quick hot take from you, Jay.
Yeah.
Is that the last we'll see of Ben Roethlisberger?
No.
No?
He'll be back.
I thought for a second there when the news first come out Monday, I thought to myself, because I was at that game, I said, did I just witness the end of Ben Roethlisberger's career? Not that I want that to happen, because he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Don't get me wrong. He's kicked the Browns' butts for 20 years almost.
Sure.
But it's one of those things, I respect the game enough to where to see somebody go out like that, I would hate to see that, even if it's Ben.
Right.
I mean,
yeah. No, he'll be back.
you think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be an interesting year. You know, he's got 2 more. So
Right.
he comes back. So we'll see.
Because that stopped anybody before from hanging it.
All right.
Calvin Johnson, ring a bell.
This guy, you know, we talked about Waymaker sunglasses. The future looks bright for this guy. He's probably got to wear shades. But Jalen Hurts as the Heisman contender pretender, Blake.
Pretender.
Wow.
I want to hear.
Okay. Let's hear it.
So 3 main things. And there's really more than 3, but here's the 3 I look at right now. 1, you lost your job to a true freshman for a reason.
Okay.
That's first and foremost. Now, granted, that guy is probably
Not just any freshman.
Yeah, not just any freshman, but you did lose your job to a true freshman as a junior,
That's
or
fair.
or redshirt sophomore, whatever he was, for a reason. You did not play for the best team in the country for a reason. So that's the first thing. You went to Oklahoma because you already couldn't start somewhere else. Second thing is, and really it's 2A and 2B, he doesn't rank in the top 10 in any of the relevant categories. He's not top 10 in passing yards. He's not top 10 in passing touchdowns.
Okay.
The one top 10 stat I found, he's 3rd in completion percentage. So, and he's 1st in running. So there was 2. But as far as to win the Heisman, like, it's great if you're a running quarterback, but let's face it, you need to be able to throw the ball too to be a Heisman winning
I've heard that
quarterback.
rumor.
Yeah. So
Right.
so those are my 3 things, is not being in the top 10 in those 2 categories and then losing his job to begin with. I just think that there's too many other good players. It's not that he's not worthy of the Heisman, but there's just so many other good especially quarterbacks right now. You got Justin Fields, you got Tua, you got Herbert in Oregon, you got all these guys that are, in my opinion, better quarterbacks. Maybe not for their systems, but for the Heisman purposes, there's just too much traffic in the way for him to win a Heisman.
So his success, you'd say, is more of an element of Lincoln Riley's system. Not as much him or
2 former Heisman guys, right?
Yeah, well, and that's the other thing too that's going against him too, is are the voters going to vote for a 3rd Oklahoma quarterback in a row?
You see this
So,
in the NBA, right?
right?
LeBron was the best player year after year after year, but he wasn't getting the MVP every year.
Because nobody wanted to see him win 18
I
in
agree
a
with
row.
you guys there.
Right.
I mean, that's
Completely
the truth, and while that shouldn't matter, it does.
Yep, it does.
All right.
I agree.
You know what matters too, at least to this crew a lot, is fantasy football. Let's
Just a little.
transition. Let's talk in fantasy football. Let's give our locks.
Fantasy.
Guys, I'm going to start with one, and I'm going to take a little swing here. You know, we could go basic. We could go simple. I could skate by and give you whoever's playing the Dolphins this week, or a quarterback or running back. I'm going to give you a
That's
tight
the rule.
a
No,
tight
no
end
team
here.
playing the Dolphins.
I'm going to give you a tight end who plays for the Bengals. Oof. Yeah. Tyler Eifert.
This is a stretch.
They're facing Arizona. Arizona gives up 19 points per game to tight ends.
Okay.
Okay. Who is their deep threat? Tyler Eifert at the tight end position, right?
Now,
If he doesn't break
No
his
John
whole
Ross.
body,
Yeah, Ross
you
is
never
out,
know.
yeah.
Right, right. Their defense is going to key on Mixon. You know, they only give up 16 points per game to running back, so they are at least, as far as Arizona goes, pretty tough on that side of the ball.
don't you feel like that somewhat hurts him, though? No A.J. Green, no John Ross. Who else do you really have to cover? Tyler Boyd? I mean, is that who we're really going to hang our hat
Hopefully
on?
not, 'cause
I'm
he's on
wondering-
my team. So.
Do you think this is just purely volume dependent?
I think it's very volume.
So as,
dependent. I
as
think
like a
he's gonna
tight
get
end,
I'll
so like
support that
if you're in like
logic.
a
Yeah.
daily fantasy or your PPR, I think that's
Yeah,
That's fair.
I can see that
especially
for
as you
sure.
watch this Monday
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
The red, right? I mean, he was on his butt the whole game. He's going to have some shorter routes to guys he
Quick
trusts.
read to him.
I could see a lot of routes going to him. What about you, Mike? Who's your lock for the week?
My lock for this week is a guy that I did not start last week because I was very worried about his injury. Alshon Jeffrey.
Okay.
Speaking of injury, though, I kept Terry McLaurin up there for us because he didn't end up playing. That was my lock last week. I was
Do
very
you
upset
need
about
medical
that.
attention?
Yeah.
What is wrong?
I don't know. I ain't no goddamn doctor.
That's fair.
Hey, I'm not. I just like fantasy football. No, Alshon Jeffrey's playing the Jets, third worst against the pass as a fantasy guy. I think they're just going to start hitting him up. They're going to be in the red zone a lot. Darnold is able to practice, not allowed for contact. So I think positive field position, touchdowns, and I think he's healthy.
Okay. Very good. Blake, what about you, my man?
So my guy, I don't necessarily know that this is a surprising lock, but Keenan Allen is my guy for the week. So reason being, the Broncos have given up two 100-yard, one touchdown games to receivers that are not of equal talent to Keenan Allen. Those are Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Tyrell Williams.
Awful law firm.
I would-
by the way.
yeah.
Marquez Scantling
But I would argue that
would not hire them.
But I would argue
Great
that,
receiver though.
But I would argue that Keenan Allen's a better receiver than both of those guys. I don't think anybody
Yes.
would disagree. So that he has the most targets in the NFL right now too. 42 of his 48 targets came in the first 3 weeks. Only 6 targets because they played the Dolphins last week and it was over by halftime.
Right.
So so yeah, most targeted guy. He's Phillip Rivers' kind of security blanket. Not going to be sharing a lot of touches because of Hunter Henry not playing. Other thing that's going in their favor too is Melvin Gordon coming back. So I expect a little more focus up front because they've been running down everybody's throats with Eckler. So you're getting Gordon back. You have a 1-2 punch. I think they're going to focus a lot of guys in the box.
Yeah,
Let
he's
Von
an elite
Miller
talent.
doing his thing and leave really Keenan Allen in a lot of one-on-one coverages. So I expect him to have a big week. And he's relatively reasonably priced on daily fantasy football.
Which to me is mind blowing.
Yeah,
I don't
right,
understand
right,
most
right.
targeted.
No clue how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways. All right, guys. We shared some very interesting stories on our text thread this week. Blake, I want to open this up to you.
Sure.
You told us something awesome about your dad's league. Give us a little rundown.
So this is a league I'm in. Shout out to Big Play Ed.
Yeah, big play ad.
Big Play Eddie.
All right.
So it is a 8-man, so 8 team,
8 guys.
8 guys.
Oh, okay.
So this is going way back. So let me preface this. They found out about fantasy football in the late 1980s. Their first year they had a league was 1988.
Oh my
Hold
God.
up. Do you guys know I was born in '86?
Right.
So these guys have been playing as long as I've basically
They've been
alive.
playing longer
Okay.
than I've been alive. I was born in '89. So
Yeah.
So
Wow,
So they
this
found
guy.
this in the back of, I believe it was at the time, a Sporting News magazine. It was like on the back. You know how they have like
Yeah.
the back cover ads.
Sure,
And it was
sure.
like, hey, try this fantasy football. So they tried it, loved it. So what my dad used to do, like I said, it's 8 guys. It's a 6-keeper dynasty league. You
Oh
keep
my
6 guys every year.
I love
6
that.
guys. But what made it cool is, like, for example, I've been in the league for over 15 years now, and like you have guys for their whole career. Like I had Calvin Johnson for his whole career. I had Des Bryant for all of his important parts of his career.
Sure.
I had Sean.
Not the last,
I had
though.
Sean Alexander for his whole career. Like,
Okay.
So it's kind of cool because you don't have to throw anybody back. There's no limit to the amount of time you can
Okay.
keep somebody. But nonetheless, they started this back in '88, and this is way before the computer and internet era.
So,
Well, that's interesting
I've
because
literally
you couldn't have picks. So if it's a 6-player keeper league,
No,
I mean,
you
you
can.
wouldn't have to because how would you do picks?
What do you mean
You'd
picks?
send them via mail.
Oh,
So
yeah,
you're saying
dude,
for the
you know
draft.
what I mean?
You're saying for the draft?
Yeah, for the draft.
So here's what they would do. So
Or get on the phone,
So
I
the
guess.
draft, most of the guys would. I think the guys would come into town. I'd have to
Yeah.
have my dad confirm this, but
Yeah.
real live human contact.
But there was one guy, my dad's buddy Dave, who's in Chicago. He never comes in for the draft. He's still in the league to this day. He lives in Chicago, never comes in. But everybody else is local again now. But they used to, whenever it was his pick, literally call him, "Hey, here's who's went since you last picked. Who do you want?" Wow.
I get mad when the person takes this is the internet era here. I've never done fantasy outside of on a computer, phone,
Yeah.
whatever. I get mad when somebody takes the whole clock.
Yeah.
Oh,
See, we
you
don't
wouldn't
even have
like the
clocks
guy.
in our
You're
league.
right.
Yeah.
Our guys move pretty quick.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
But
Or
the
the
interesting
internet.
thing. But here's the interesting thing too: the scoring. So how do you figure out who won every week? with
Yeah,
no internet?
that's the other
So
thing. Get
so
it on
what?
paper?
So what my old man would do is go get a USA Today because it was standard across the country, right? So because he had a buddy that lived in Phoenix, which was his buddy Pat. His buddy Ed lived in Vegas. So so he would get a USA Today because it was standardized across the board. Everybody
Sure,
would get a USA
sure.
Today no matter where you are. So he would get a USA Today, sit down Tuesday after he got home from work, literally hand write out all the scores, do all the math, everything himself, and he would he would basically hand deliver the scoring to people who were local, and then the guys that lived away, he'd go to mailboxes, etc. R.I.P. That tells you how long ago this was.
Yes,
and actually,
yes.
and actually fax the results to the guys that were out of town.
That
Fax machine, I love
Yeah.
it.
That is the ultimate old man story there.
My dad-
you boys back in my day.
This is my challenge to all the playmakers out there. If you can find somebody that's had a league longer than my old man, 1988, he's the OG commish. There's
Yes,
no,
yes.
I want to
There's
just hear
no-
about it at
Yeah.
least, right?
yeah.
And then I have a question though.
Yeah.
Stat corrections.
So if somebody
Non-existent.
if somebody
I
had
would
a,
say no if I was your dad.
no, if somebody had a dispute, he'd listen to it. And he would check it, and if it was wrong, he would go through the whole process again and send it all back out.
Wow.
That's patience,
Unbelievable.
and that's a great commissioner.
If it changed anything, if it changed win loss,
Okay.
whatever, you know what I mean.
Okay.
So-
Yeah.
And then he obviously kept a home file of who had how many points every week for tiebreakers, stuff like that.
I'm
So-
on the different end. I have a commissioner who's incredible.
Okay, tell us about how you
Rob.
guys you get your order of your draft because
So-
it's
Oh, yeah,
pretty
this is
awesome.
This was my. I literally was blown away when he did because he didn't tell any of us. We had no idea. We just all get together as many as we can, and the other guys we FaceTime in. We do all that stuff. We had a simulated with our own likenesses of a Royal Rumble match. He just made us all in a wrestling game, and then simulated it. And the winner was number 1 pick, and the lowest was 12.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It was, I don't even want to know the amount of time he spends. He makes pre-videos. He has us all send stuff. He edits it. We talk trash. We have to send trash talking videos to be eligible for a high score each week. And he edits it every week.
I need in.
Commissioner Rob
sounds
is the
great.
best. Yeah. Actually, I probably could use the help. I've been okay the last few years, but I haven't won it. I need to win it. He gives rings. We have trophies. We have all this beautiful stuff. But yeah, he is an incredible commissioner. I want to hear people's interesting ways they get picks as well.
Right.
Now, do you guys have in any of your leagues I started a league recently. My father-in-law had never done fantasy football before, so we started a league. Instead of playing for money every year, we all pitched in and bought one of those belts.
Oh, yeah.
So, do you guys have anything like that, like something big? Or
No.
on the other end, do you have anything for the guy that finishes last?
No, we should though. As I look to
My
my commissioner, at
family
the end
has
of
a
the table.
massive peacock statue. As always, we always say no good deed goes unpunished. So if you win it, you get this awful thing. I've had it a few times in my family one, but then in the Friends League, we have the if you take last, we took from the league the Sacco. They have to get everyone's beers the entire draft. As soon as the draft's over, they're done.
Right.
But the entire draft, it could be their anything. And we decided to rule out not during their pick because that's not fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, just people just constantly.
See, in that
yeah.
same league we did the belt, we got the license plate holder. It says it's hot pink. And it says I finished last in my fantasy football league.
We're done. Yeah, we do signs like that, and
Yep.
if somebody drives by and doesn't see it,
Yeah, that's
it costs
what,
them. Yeah,
that's what we're doing. If somebody sees your car or sees you driving it without it, you have to pay $100 towards a charity.
Wow.
So that's
okay.
what ours is.
Fun stuff, guys. All right, let's move on here. Let's go to our favorite segment. Your favorite segment too, Mike, right? Yeah, you're in.
a big fan.
Let's go to Hell No, Hell Yeah. By the way, I was just thinking of Mike's finishing move. What it might be. It'd be like the avocado toast elbow, right? He just grabs a piece of avocado toast, bam, right to your face, kind of like the Dusty. He'd roll them bows and then hit you with the bionic elbow, baby, right to the face, right
Instead
to the
of
kith.
Instead of Mr. Sacco, it's Mr. Avocado.
He just takes it out,
Just shoves the avocado in
and
somebody's
it's
mouth.
not even whole grain toast. That's the offensive part, Blake.
I'm so upset right now.
I would be
Sourdough.
Too. I would be too. You know what's not upsetting is hell no, hell yeah, Mike, are you ready?
Give me a hell yeah.
I'm ready, baby.
What?
Can I cut in really fast?
Yeah.
So, Megan just
boy.
popped in and said, funny. I don't see the license plate holder on your truck.
That's
Can you
'cause I
pay
finished runner-up.
$100 to the wife's charity?
It's because I finished runner-up.
Oh, okay.
I finished runner-up, and I finished embarrassingly to my sister. She won the whole thing.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, it happens. You're a good brother.
Hey, at least you didn't take last.
That's how a good brother
right.
does it. That's right. All right, Mike. Melvin Gordon ended his holdout last week and joined the Chargers. Austin Eckler, of course, has been pretty darn impressive in his absence. Hell no, hell yeah. Should the Chargers turn the keys completely over to Gordon this week?
Hell no.
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no.
And my explanation is he's gone. Get what you can for him right now.
Yeah.
Eckler is obviously more than serviceable. He did awesome. Also, I'm a fantasy owner, so please get Gordon out of there. I want those points. But get him out of there. Get what you can for him. He's done at the end of the year. I think right now their value couldn't be higher. You got to at least trade one of them. I would expect it'd be Gordon.
All right. Very good. All right, guys, we're going to open this up to everyone. And, Mike, I'm going to start with you. It's what everyone's talking about. California Governor Gavin Newsom signed a bill that will allow NCAA athletes to sign with agents and be paid for certain endorsements. Hell no, hell yeah, guys. The Fair Play to Pay Act, I did it right.
That was beautiful.
Signals the beginning of student athletes making money during their college days. Mike, I'll start with you.
Hell yeah.
Give me a hell yeah. What?
But it's not a bad thing.
No.
In my opinion. And
Sure.
also, it's not going to be some absurd amount of money that everyone's making. Maybe you have those guys. Like, I look back at, like, Ohio State without Terrell Pryor. He was going to make a ton of money because if they didn't have him, they were probably a 4-win team at that point. Like,
Right.
Sure.
you look at guys
Well,
like...
he did make money. I mean,
that's a good point. I shouldn't have made that. But, like,
it's not the best example.
and not only is it the beginning because California... Other states are doing it. Ohio has already talked about it. I think New York is talking about it.
Right, yeah,
Their
Illinois.
legislators are the ones talking about it. So it's going to start happening. These kids, they deserve to be paid for using their likeness, their endorsements. Yeah. Other people are making tons of money off of it. They deserve it too. And you say the scholarship stuff, I've heard enough of that. Like, that's not comparable when you get to these top level guys.
And to preface all this, we know, of course, athletic departments aren't going to have a budget and they're going to be paying these athletes. It's just they have the option to sign with an agent and try to get things independently to an extent, right?
Yeah, I think it's all the ancillary things are what they should have had access to from the beginning.
I agree.
And I think it was our guy Ken Carmen used this example this morning. You know, if a guy wants to go and have a car dealership, if Justin Fields gets approached by a car dealership in Columbus, who the hell cares if he makes some money off going and saying, "Hey, go buy a car"?
The
here.
NCAA.
I mean, well, of course,
For now.
because they're not getting their cut. So
Sure.
So yeah, this is 100% the right move, and I expect it to go nationally and as it should. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Right. So then it won't go into effect till 2023.
Right.
So there's obviously some time.
How much do you hate life if you're one of those guys that graduates in 2022?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right. You're at Sacramento State, like, son of a. Come on. I just wanted to. Is Jerry Glanville still up there?
Oof,
Oh, God.
That's an
I'd
old
have to
school
look.
reference. Say he was up there. He was up there. Yeah. But no, this does set a precedent. And I'm with you guys. Well, why not? All right.
Yeah.
Someone has to do this. You know, people had their pitchforks out and were, talking fire and brimstone when the NCAA went to a 4-team playoff. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then the next year we need 8.
Well, here's the
People evolve.
Here's the argument I've seen on social media all day, and I've been messaged by a couple people on Twitter and whatnot, and it's like, well, now the same 8-9 teams are going to be the ones winning it every year, and I'm like, when's that been different any other time? It's been that way for the last 50 years. It's the same 10 dozen teams, whatever, in the conversation to win the championship every year.
Yeah.
So what does it change? What does it change? Nothing. Change is not a thing.
I think if anything, it helps even out the playing field a little bit if this becomes more national.
And
frankly,
I heard the argument. What about the big fish in a small pond? What if you go to that small school and you are the star right away?
Yeah,
you actually might get the cut, or you're gonna get that extra. They need storylines when it comes down to these games. This is why we have rankings so early, right?
Now,
true.
I didn't look into the details on this, and forgive me for not doing so. Are they eligible once they're on campus, or are they eligible the day they graduate high school?
At this point, I think it's essentially you don't have anything limiting you ever. So I don't know about if high school's gonna happen.
Because to your point about being the big fish in a small pond, what if there's a car dealership in Columbus willing to offer me $100,000, but a car dealership, let's say in Youngstown for Youngstown State, willing to offer me $500,000?
Yeah, and that's the thing. So we don't know yet if there
up
are
to them.
caps, right?
Right, yeah,
So there's obviously got to be a cap here.
That's your agent
Okay, you
job
can't
now,
have a
right?
college freshman going out and making $5 million, right?
Why not? If
Well,
he is the guy drawing
Jay,
everybody
you're
to that
becoming the
stadium,
NCAA now.
But guys, okay, so you're telling me a kid can start college and make more than the NFL rookie contract?
Why not?
Hypothetically?
it's his right, in my opinion. It's his likeness.
Could the NFL rookie not have the same opportunity to go out and get those endorsement deals himself?
That's
Okay,
yeah.
but the point is here, do you think the NFL is eventually going to get involved if this gets too lucrative?
Well, I think this is where you're going
the
to see
most powerful league in the world,
This goes back to an article on BigPlay.com that I wrote.
besides the CFL.
There needs to be a minor league football team. Not a minor league football league, but a feeder league.
What about the AAF, bro?
Yeah,
Oh, no.
okay.
But I was going to say, the XFL
The
doesn't want to be a
XFL.
minor league, but I could
Right.
see them seeing as their angle. This is their way in. Go for a
Right.
couple younger kids. The other thing is, also, the people who pay this money, they're good businessmen and women.
Right.
Are they really going to offer $5
No,
million
but-
to
No.
a 17-year-old
Right,
or an
right,
18-year-old?
right,
Yeah.
right.
There is some,
That's
the market's going to play in. Like,
Yeah.
I think people need to kind of take a step back, breathe. It's not the end of the world. It might not be the end of NCAA, and it might be. But whatever comes out will probably be better
I hope it is.
Right.
for the players.
Could you imagine you're a top high school prospect, you're like, all right, so when am I going to play? What kind of offense do they run? And what's their endowment like? Right? What's their alumni network? Oh, I'm going to go to Oklahoma State because T-Bone Pickens is involved, right? Anyways,
So I like that the rich guy you know
honestly,
is
behind-
T-Bone Pickens.
the
behind-
best name ever. Side
The
note.
sad part is behind the scenes it's probably already going on.
Yeah. Oh,
So this is going to bring it to the front.
know
I agree with that.
Ironic that
I
California
think
and
it
USC
Yeah.
is going to be one of these teams. Just saying.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. Pete Carroll.
Anyways. All right, Blake, let's talk a
Good.
little MLB playoffs real quick here. Give me a hell no, hell yeah. Let's go through each matchup.
Sure.
And we know we've got the wild card going on right now, and I want to get a quick update of that as we scroll through here. We've got Tampa Bay up on Oakland 4-1. So we'll just do this hypothetically
Sure.
as if they're going to go on. All right, let's start in the the NL. Washington Nationals, who won that, I guess, a heartbreaker last night.
For if you're a Brewers
If you're
fan.
a Brewers fan,
Sorry,
Washington
sorry,
Nationals,
Milwaukee.
take on the Dodgers. Who do you
Yeah.
think is coming out of this series?
LA in a clean sweep.
Okay,
Clean
easy
sweep.
enough. I agree. Not much
Two
to
of these
talk about.
division series are going to be clean sweeps, and I'll give you both.
Okay.
But that's the first one.
What about the Cards and the Braves in the other NLDS matchup?
So this one I find to be a little more competitive, but I'm going to take the Braves.
Okay.
They have the edge in they have slight edges when it comes to pitching, starting pitching in the bullpen. But where they have a clear advantage is on offense, is in the actual lineup. Top to bottom, they're just a more well-balanced,
Lot of
more
power.
rounded team, a lot of power. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Braves, but not in quite as easy of a series.
Okay. Hypothetical, we're going to say it's the Rays now. They're up
Sure.
4-1. Let's say Rays playing the Houston Astros.
This is my second clean sweep.
Yeah.
You got you got Cole and Greinke going in games 1 and 2. I think I can't remember who's going to game 3 that I read earlier, but this is the best pitching staff in baseball. I mean, there's just no argument.
Maybe
here.
the
So,
best one in a long, long time.
very
Maybe
long time.
90s
Did you guys
Braves.
see that bet?
Yeah.
What's that?
See that
The
bet?
sales, the mattress, what's his
$3.5
name?
million on the
Oh, yeah.
Stros to win it.
Yep.
Mattress Mac, isn't that his
Mattress
name?
Mac, yeah.
To win 11.8, I think it was.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Right.
Honestly, it's a pretty good bet. I just don't know if I would be willing to bet 3.5
Bet $3
million.
million.
Well, if you're Mattress Mac, I mean, he just keeps it under the mattress.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, if I could go back to college and
make
2023 and make
3.5.
some money.
We couldn't get through a show without a Colgate reference.
Right, I was going to say.
no, I
The Colgate. What kind of hypothetical, fullback, Patriot League, Colgate. What kind of endorsements here? Are you talking like Greg's Barbecue? What are you looking for?
You brought up Malone. I had to get you in there, too.
yeah, there you go.
I was gonna say probably like like a local chewing gum, like it's probably dangerous. Me?
Local chewing gum?
Northeast Ohio going to like upstate New York.
Right.
I'm probably paying somebody just to like give me something that looks
Right.
like.
Can I come out to your bar mitzvah?
legit.
Can I come out and maybe just do a
My
couple
wedding
dances? Yeah, right. Well, hey,
why
that's
not?
that's something that could happen, right? You bring out the offensive line to your kid's birthday party and
There
pay
you
them.
go.
That's not crazy to think that. All right, guys, we got to talk about this one too. Raiders linebacker Vontaze Burfict was suspended for the rest of the 2019 season after a very malicious helmet-to-helmet hit on Colts tight end Shaq Doyle. Hell no, hell yeah. Does Burfict's punishment fit the crime, Blake?
Hell no, but don't freak out. I'll tell you why.
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no.
Simply put, he should be gone forever.
Wow.
Gone forever. Permanent ban right now. Those of us and those of you out there that have played really any contact sport, let's say basketball, football, soccer, whatever your flavor of choice is, you know there's a distinct line. And Mike, I think you'd agree, you played. There's a distinct line between playing hard and maybe going a little too far, and even dirty.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of that, there is the side where you're just maliciously trying to harm somebody with intent. Like there's just, and if you look at that play on Jack Doyle, there is zero football play there. It is purely to cause harm to him. He didn't try to tackle him. He didn't try to strip the ball. He didn't try to do anything. It was simply to injure him and no other reasoning for the play.
That's where I agree. I mean, if you look at it, his ass is high.
Yeah.
He's not trying to step on the guy's toes. In this world that we live in for the NFL right now, that's what you're supposed to do. You are supposed to step on their toes, hit with your shoulder.
Right.
He is leading with his head. That to me, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
on that.
I mean,
Set a precedent.
Yeah, set a precedent that because the bottom line is if you don't set a precedent on this guy, especially with today's young athlete, you're going to have more of this guy. You're going to have more. You're going to have more of it, and they're going to be worse. And eventually, and I hate to say this, somebody may not make it off the field.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's not crazy.
if it continues.
Yeah.
And I'd hate to see that.
And this isn't exactly a law-abiding citizen here. We're
No,
talking,
and there's a
and I
clear
mean on the
precedent.
football
Yeah.
field. Preface.
Yeah.
he's been suspended 8 times.
Yeah.
So
What's the
come
total
on.
up to? Was it 3-some million?
I've
4 mil.
seen the statistic earlier. I was like
How
almost
much
4
he's been
million.
fined? It's
Yeah.
incredible how much he's. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And you know, and not to open up old wounds, but you have a guy like Josh Gordon that did what he did.
Sure.
And there was talks of never letting him back in the league. And this guy's trying to, for a lack of better terms, end people's careers, and he's still allowed to play at some point. I just don't understand it, but that's not what I'm paid to do. I'm just paid to judge those decisions.
I love it. All right, Mike,
All right,
what do you
Jay,
got,
I
brother?
got a couple for you.
Let's do it.
All right. Cam Newton came out last week, and he said he hid the extent of his foot sprain. Actually,
Right under those big hats.
oh yeah, in the scarves.
Yeah.
I dug it, man. I was feeling it.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
Yeah. And he's actually now going to sit until he's 100%. Hell no, hell yeah. A healthy Kyle Allen would have served the Panthers better in the first 2 games.
Hell yeah. I'm going to preface this here. This is more of an element of Cam's health, not exactly Kyle Allen, although he's been pretty darn good. Let's give the guy credit. He's 2-0. He's at 72% of his passes, 493 yards, and 4 TDs. That's pretty darn good for a guy coming off the bench.
And their
coming
offense
in for-
looked anemic before that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy at the beginning of the year, they weren't sure who was going to back up Cam. It was him, it was Will Greer, and then I forget the third guy. They didn't have a clue who was going to back him up at one point.
Right. Jake Delhomme. Remember him? Yeah. Anyways. But the kid's
Derek
3-0 in his starts. And all this kid's starts are on the road, right? But he did cough up the ball 4 times in his 2 starts.
you gotta work
all
on
in
that.
strip sacks. So, little pocket presence, stepping to the side. It looked like things that could have been avoidable.
Yeah, protect the
maybe
ball,
if he-
yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
Somebody who was not protected, Chris Ash, after they lost Rutgers 52-0 to a Michigan team that we are kind of low on. They fired him.
Yep.
Hell no, hell yeah. Are in-season firings a good idea?
Hell yeah. What? Mike, you think they told him to get his ash out of there?
I hope so.
You think he told him to kiss his? Anyways.
Got him!
Rutgers is the laughing stock of college football and has been since
Yeah,
this guy's been on. So he's got 8 wins in his 3+ seasons.
Do you think they regret
8
joining
wins.
the Big Ten?
No. Well, when Shiano started that, I mean, they had some pretty good years under
The
him,
market
quite
made
frankly.
sense, right?
Yeah. I mean, the guy was above 500, albeit barely, 68
Right.
and 67 in his 11 seasons, but they went to 6 bowl games. They were legit. They fired their offensive coordinators too as well, guys. But yeah, in this case, you got to set a precedent. What do you do? Just continue to lose out this year and just set a standard that Rutgers football, already considered kind of a joke during this era, is just, we really don't care about winning. You have to set some sort of standard and precedent here.
Do you see a situation where Shiano comes back?
They're talking about him. That's kind of the rumor. This guy. God, he has had so many. I still want to know what happened with the Raiders. I'm not the Raiders, the Patriots. That short little stint he had with them.
Was it like a month?
Yeah.
I wonder. I don't even want to.
He didn't even get his name tag at that point, right?
I feel like he was invited
Say
to
HR
a
paperwork,
parlor, and he was above it.
Oh, dude, Mike. Well, I'm going to give you a hand for that reference. But anyway.
Very nice.
Oh, guys, great show. Let's talk about next week and shows that are coming up, because we've got a great lineup here as a whole. Of course, next week we're going to do another preview of a great Saucy Brew Works beer. We're going to sum up the weeks and look ahead, give our fantasy previews. We've got a great lineup here at Big Play and BigPlay.com on Monday nights, 8 o'clock, Blitz Football. Check them out. 9 o'clock, of course, our guy, Davey Mack, the host, with Breezy Clee and Reflog, the Big Play Cleveland show at 9 o'clock. They'll have a lot to talk about this week. Tuesday, Birdland BS, our guys, Fred and, God, why am I... Scott, excuse me. Wow. Sorry, Scott. Love you. 8:30 p.m. on Tuesday. They're talking all things. Yeah, exactly. Even though it's smooth, refreshing, and crisp.
Incorrect.
Anyways, yeah, excuse me. Wednesdays, we are, of course, the Big Play Podcast at 8:30. Thursday nights, Big Play Gaming with Mike McFadden, 8 to 10:30.
The guru.
Follow us on Twitter. I'm at the Big Play J. Blake, tell everyone where they can find you.
At BigPlay_Blake.
Mike, how about yourself?
I'm at Big Play Beats.
Check out the screen. Check out Big Play at BigPlay_com for all of our great articles, and all the shows go out there too as well. Yep. Follow our partners at Saucy Brew Works on Twitter, at Waymaker Sunglasses too as well. Check them out. Waymaker Sun. Correction there. So follow our partners. Check out their websites. Again, use that promo code BigPlay at their website for 15% off. For Jay, myself, Big Play Jay, Blake, Mike, and producer Dave over there hitting all the sounds this week. Thank you very much, sir. We are the Big Play Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend. Take care.